everyone, welcome back to Actual English. My name is Jennifer Clyde. Now, as I did remind you, we're going to move on to a brand new category of topics. Let's begin talking about special occasions. I mean, there are so many special occasions, but I have selected a few for all of us to enjoy talking about. Today's topic is marriage proposals. Whether you're married, still single, searching for that significant other, that very perfect person, your partner for life, we can always talk about marriage proposals. First of all, if you are married, you can talk about how you were proposed to or how you proposed to your wife in the past. And also, if you are still single or if you're dating someone, you can perhaps talk about what you wish would happen in the future. How you wish your boyfriend or girlfriend will pop the big question. Ask you for your hand in marriage. Ask you, will you marry me? So let's talk about that topic. Let's begin with today's Actual Talk. So Peter, how did you pop the question?
The big question.
The big question.
Okay, we're talking about the marriage proposal,
exactly.
Right? Just so I'm thinking about the right question. I literally got down on one knee, did it the traditional way.
Okay.
And I asked for her hand in marriage, and luckily she said without hesitating, yes.
That's really good. Were you nervous right before you asked?
I was incredibly nervous. I didn't think I would because we'd known each other for years.
Yeah.
But then when you pop that question and the responsibility and all that kind of stuff, it really fills you up with extreme nerves. It was nerve-wracking,
yes.
Literally. And I think my wife felt nervous as well when I was asking.
Yeah. Did she cry at all? Or was she speechless? How did she react?
She was completely caught off guard, definitely.
Okay.
She didn't expect it.
Those are the best proposals,
Absolutely.
when you don't expect it.
Take them by surprise,
yeah.
Right? Was it the same for you, Rachel?
It was totally unexpected. It was Valentine's Day, so I know it is kind of the cliche because everybody wants to do something romantic on Valentine's Day.
But that's the ultimate romantic thing.
It is true, but I didn't expect it because I thought he was going to ask me later at dinner because we had plans to go on a romantic dinner. Ooh. So I was like, okay, I'm going to dress really nicely. I'm going to get my nails done, because the ring goes on that finger.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but during the day, I was totally in my scrubs, right? I haven't had any makeup on because I wasn't prepared to go out during the day. I was going to wait for dinner time. And he asked me, oh, you want to go to the supermarket for a second? So I was like, yeah, sure. So again, I'm in totally in scrubs, right? From head to toe.
I'm sure you were beautiful.
Oh, thanks, Peter. No makeup. And we start driving to the supermarket, and all of a sudden he takes a different path.
Ooh.
Right? So he's not going to the supermarket. And I realize, oh, this is happening. And he takes me to the Han River, which was where we kind of had our first date.
Aww.
And he got on one knee like you and popped the question.
I think that's the only way to do it. Get on one knee.
Yes.
Be a gentleman.
Exactly.
I think today's topic is perfect, or should I say, I think that Peter and Rachel were perfect candidates for today's conversation. Now, especially because Peter is married, so he told us about how he asked his wife to marry him, and Rachel had a chance to talk about, hers as well. Although she's not married yet, she is planning to get married very soon. Okay, now we had a chance to find out about their marriage proposals. Let's take a look at it line by line. So, now Rachel says, Peter, how did you pop the big question? Actually, she didn't say big. She said, how did you pop the question? How did you pop the big question? What does that mean? Pop the question. Pop the big question means ask someone to marry you. Okay? Now, Peter said the big question. That's right, because she didn't say big. How did you pop the question? He says, how did I pop the big question? I literally, meaning word for word, got down on one knee. Yeah, that's how they do it traditionally. Did it the traditional way and asked for her hand in marriage. Okay, so let's take a look at that. He said literally once again, I literally got down on one knee. Meaning, word for word, I actually got down on one knee. And I did it the traditional way. Okay, and he says, I asked for her hand in marriage. Keep this in mind. To ask for someone's hand in marriage is another way to say, will you marry me? I proposed to her. I asked for her hand in marriage. I popped the big question. Okay, they all mean the same thing. And then he says, and luckily, she said without hesitation. Without hesitation meaning she did not hesitate to think. She did not wait to answer. She just said yes. Lucky Peter. Okay. Now, Rachel says, were you nervous right before you asked? Were you nervous? And he said, I was incredibly nervous. I was I was extremely nervous. When you pop the question, it really fills you up with extreme nerves. Now, fill someone up with something. It means what? It means that a certain feeling or an emotion is very strong. You are full of that emotion. You are full of that feeling. So he's saying, when you pop the question, meaning when people in general pop the question or ask for someone's hand in marriage, it fills you up with extreme nerves, meaning, yeah, you become very nervous. It was nerve-wracking. That's another word for nervous, but not just nervous, extremely nervous. It was nerve-wracking. And I think my wife felt nervous as well when I was asking. So they were both very nervous at the moment. Moving on, now Rachel asks, did she cry at all? A lot of women cry. I think it's because, sometimes you wait a very long time hoping that your boyfriend will ask you to marry him. And it's not a very easy thing. You wait and you wait and you hope and you hope. And finally, when he pops the question, some people do cry. Okay, so she says, did she cry at all? Or was she speechless? Speechless is what? Speechless meaning, right. Did she not have anything to say? If you lose words, if you become very silent, you can say, I became speechless. Okay. How did she react? How did she react? How did she respond? How did she act? Now, Peter says she was completely caught off guard. That's an idiomatic expression, okay? Catch somebody off guard. It means if you caught someone off guard, it means that he or she was unprepared. He or she was not expecting to be caught by you, okay? So, he's saying she was completely caught off guard, meaning she did not expect me to ask her the question, the big question. Definitely. She didn't expect it. So he makes it easier for us to understand. She didn't expect it. And then he asks, was it the same for you? That's right, because Rachel is planning on getting married very soon as well. She says it was. It was totally unexpected. I did not expect my boyfriend to ask me at all. Okay, I was not prepared for it. I was caught off guard. It was Valentine's Day, and everybody wants to do something romantic on Valentine's Day. And he says that's the ultimate, the very romantic thing. That is true. But I thought, okay, this is what she thought, he was going to ask me later at dinner. This is what she thought. She thought, okay, he's going to ask me later at dinner, okay? Because we had plans to go on a romantic dinner. So she says, I thought, okay, I'm going to dress really nicely. I'm going to get my nails done because the ring goes on that finger. The ring goes on that finger, meaning the ring goes on this finger, right? So she's saying, I was getting ready for everything, that special moment that I thought was going to happen at dinner. Okay, but then again she says, but during the day, I was totally in my scrubs. Meaning I was dressed in my scrubs. But what does this mean, scrubs? Now without the S,
Just scrub itself, if it's used as a verb, it means to rub something. You can scrub the floor. You could scrub the bathtub to clean it, right? Rub it really hard to get all the stains out. But here, scrubs is used as a noun with the S. We're talking about a type of clothing. Now, originally, scrubs, they say, was clothing that maybe doctors or especially nurses at hospitals wore because it's just nothing very nice. A shirt that can get dirty and you wouldn't care because often at hospitals you see patients that have cuts and all that and you may get your clothes dirty and it's okay. So scrubs was basically just simple shirts that people in the hospital would wear and they wouldn't mind getting their shirts dirty. So scrubs is something that does not look fancy at all. It is not nice clothing. So she's saying, I was totally in my scrubs, meaning I was not dressed properly. I was wearing maybe a t-shirt and sweats, okay? Moving on. She says, I didn't have any makeup on because I wasn't prepared to go out. When? During the day. And I was going to wait for dinner time. And he asked me, honey, you want to go to the supermarket for a second? So she says, yeah, sure. Okay, so she's telling us word for word, literally what happened, word for word. And then Peter's just being nice. He's saying, although you said you were in your scrubs, I'm sure you were beautiful. Thanks, Peter, she says. We started driving to the supermarket and all of a sudden, suddenly, he takes a different path. So he takes a different route. He takes a different path because they were going to the supermarket, but he takes a different path, meaning he goes maybe another way, right? He goes somewhere else. And she says, that's when I realized, oh, this is happening. This is what? This is the proposal. She's thinking, oh my goodness, this is happening. He's going to ask me to marry him. That's when she realizes that. So what happens? He takes me to the Han River, which was where we had our first date. And he got on one knee, like you, and popped the question. Very romantic. I think it's sweet that he actually remembered the location where they actually had their first date, decided to take her there, kind of surprised her and asked her to marry him. But I don't like the part that she wasn't ready for it because she wasn't looking as beautiful. But that is exactly what happened. So now we get the idea, right? So Rachel was hoping, or she was expecting her boyfriend to ask her to marry him at night, at dinner, because they were planning a romantic dinner. But then again, during the day, he suddenly says, hey, let's go to the supermarket. But then again, he takes a different path, goes somewhere else and takes her to the Han River. And that's where he asked her to marry him. Okay, now let's move on. Now Peter says, I think that is the only way to do it. The only way to do it, meaning to propose to someone. And he says, get on one knee and be a gentleman. Yeah, I think it's just a very romantic thing to do, to really get down on one knee or kneel down on one knee and say, so-and-so, will you marry me? Will you be the partner of my life? I think it's a beautiful thing. Anyhow, now we found out more about Peter and Rachel. Let's take a listen to it one more time.
So Peter, how did you pop the question?
The big question.
The big question.
Okay, we're talking about the marriage proposal,
Exactly.
right? Just so I'm thinking about the right question. I literally got down on one knee, did it the traditional way.
Okay.
And I asked for her hand in marriage. And luckily, she said without hesitating, yes.
That's really good. Were you nervous right before you asked?
I was incredibly nervous. Like, I didn't think I would because we'd known each other for years.
Yeah.
But then when you pop that question and the responsibility and all that kind of stuff, it really, fills you up with extreme nerves. It was nerve-wracking,
yes.
literally. And I think my wife felt nervous as well when I was asking.
Yeah. Did she cry at all? Or was she speechless? How did she react?
She was completely caught off guard, definitely.
Okay.
She didn't expect it.
Those
yeah.
are the best proposals, when you don't
Absolutely.
expect it.
Take them by surprise,
Yeah.
right? Was it the same for you, Rachel?
It was totally unexpected. It was Valentine's Day, so I know it is kind of the cliche because everybody wants to do something romantic on Valentine's Day.
That's the ultimate romantic thing.
It is true, but I didn't expect it because I thought he was going to ask me later at dinner, because we had plans to go on a romantic dinner. So I was like, okay, I'm going to dress really nicely. I'm going to get my nails done, you know, because the ring goes on that finger.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but during the day, I was totally in my scrubs, right? I haven't had any makeup on because I wasn't prepared to go out during the day. I was going to wait for dinner time. And he asked me, oh, you want to go to the supermarket for a second? So I was like, yeah, sure. So again, I'm totally like in scrubs, right, from head to toe.
I'm sure you were beautiful.
Oh, thanks, Peter. No makeup. And we start driving to the supermarket, and all of a sudden he takes a different path.
Ooh.
Right, so he's not going to the supermarket. And I realize, oh, this is happening. And he takes me to the Han River, which was where we kind of had our first date.
Aww.
And he got on one knee like you and popped the question.
I think that's the only way to do it. Get on one knee.
Yes.
Right? Be a gentleman.
Exactly.
Okay, everyone, how did you like today's actual talk one more time? Hope you enjoyed it. Now let's move on to some vocab words to keep in mind, to remember, so that you can use them in the future when talking about any topic, but specifically today's topic. First of all, we have literally. You will hear the word literally many, many times, more than you may expect. So literally means word for word. If somebody says literally, I did this, literally so-and-so, just think, okay, don't think otherwise, think exactly what he or she is saying. Literally, also word for word. Another one is be caught off guard. Now that is an idiom, as I mentioned. Now off guard itself, off guard, it means unprepared. So if you are caught off guard, you're not prepared for anything. Let's say, for example, robbers or even children that are doing something really bad, things that are not supposed to do, and somebody catches them, okay? Then they are caught off guard, okay? They did not expect to be caught. So caught off guard means unprepared. You are caught unprepared doing something. Also, to be in scrubs. Be in scrubs here means to be wearing scrubs, to be dressed in scrubs. As I mentioned, scrubs here in this case is a noun, and we're talking about clothing that's worn by hospital staff usually. Just in case, just in case you get like blood or stains on your shirt, it's easier to replace them because the clothing is very cheap. It's better than having a nice suit shirt getting ruined, right? So be in scrubs means like a very old t-shirt, something not too, I guess, good looking or nice looking to the eye, okay? Let's move on. Now, pop the big question. You can either say pop the question or pop the big question. It means to ask someone to marry you, okay? Okay, to propose to someone. How did your fiancé pop the big question? You can ask that question, right? Now, fiancé, though, as we see, there is one C, so we are referring to a male. Usually, if you want to talk about a female, you just add an extra E at the end. So it becomes F-I-A-N-C-E-E. But they're pronounced the same way, okay? Even for a female, it's fiancé. For a male, it's fiancé. They're just spelled differently. So let's practice asking this question. How did your fiancé pop the big question? One more time. How did your fiancé pop the big question? Another one, is he ever going to pop the question? This is something you may wonder. This is something you may even tell your friend. Say, you know what? I've been waiting for so long. We've been dating for like 5 years. Is he ever going to pop the question? Is something you can ask, right? One more time. Is he ever going to pop the question? Meaning I'm waiting, right? Here's another one. I'm thinking of popping the big question soon. Now, if you have plans, if you are thinking of, if you are planning of proposing to someone, you can say, I'm thinking of popping the big question or popping the question soon. Let's take a look at another pattern. Get down on one knee. This is definitely something you might want to talk about when talking about proposing to someone, when talking about marriage proposals. Literally, it means to kneel down on one knee. Get down on one knee. Here is a sentence. Are you going to get down on one knee? You can stop there, but also add when you propose to her. So for example, you may ask a friend, so how are you going to propose to your girlfriend? Are you going to get down on one knee? Are you going to get down on one knee when you propose to her? When you ask her for her hand in marriage? Here is another sample sentence. He got down on one knee and asked for my hand in marriage. Okay, another way of proposing to someone is ask for somebody's hand in marriage. Okay, so he got down on one knee and proposed to me. He got down on one knee and asked for my hand in marriage. This is something you can say if your boyfriend really got down on one knee and asked you to marry him. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Fill someone up with. Fill somebody up with something. Remember, in today's actual talk, Peter was talking about how people in general, when they pop the question, they're usually filled with what? Nerves, right? Meaning they're very nervous. Here we go. The book fills you up with a positive energy. A positive is often used. Sometimes it is omitted. That's why it is in parentheses. A book, okay, can fill you up with something like an emotion or a feeling or even thoughts. So if you read a book and it had so much positive energy, if you gained a positive energy, you can say the book fills you up with positive energy or a positive energy. Here we go. He fills me up with happiness. Yes. If somebody really makes you happy all the time, you're full of joy whenever you are with him or her, you can say he or she fills me up with so-and-so. Two more times. He fills me up with happiness. Let's change it to her, she. She fills me up with happiness. Wonderful job. All right, that about does it for today's actual expressions. Practice them more on your own.
So wedding proposals, I'm still young, so I haven't really thought about it that much, but when I think about what I would want in a wedding proposal, I would want a private event where it's just my fiance and me, where he would just propose to me, and I think there I would want maybe a friend or two, a close friend who would record it or maybe take some pictures, because I really like looking back at videos and seeing recaps, so I think it'd be cool to have that. And yes, I want the event to be private, but I guess afterwards it'd be fun and nice to have a gathering of just our close friends, to celebrate, a joyous day of me being proposed to, me about to spend the rest of my life with someone I really love. And so, yeah, I mean, I haven't thought about it much, but that's what I would really want. And as far as a place, I don't know, just this quiet, small, maybe park or somewhere outdoors.
Welcome to Sarah, and thank you for that wonderful story of yours. That was today's actual story. Now, we asked Sarah, what is your dream proposal? How would you like to be proposed to in the future? Now, what did she say? She said that she thinks that she's a bit too young, so she didn't really think about, marriage proposals yet, but she did give a few examples. She did mention that mostly when it comes to her marriage or her boyfriend or future boyfriend proposing to her, she would like it to be very private, right? Just with her and her fiancé and some close friends around. So let's take a look at what she mentioned. She says, I'm still young, so I have not thought about it that much. The it here is marriage proposal. So if you're still young and you have not really thought about marriage proposals, you can say, I'm still young, so I haven't really thought about it that much, okay? Now she says, but if I were to tell you, let me think right now, I could say I want a private event. A private event where it's just my fiancé and me. Okay, my fiancé and me. Grammatically, it should be my fiancé and I. That's correct. But people often say my fiancé and me. You'll hear it a lot, so just keep in mind that the proper way to say it grammatically is my fiancé and I. He and I, she and I, my mother and I, my friends and I. Okay? So she says she wants a private event. That's the point. What else? She says, I want a friend or two, maybe a couple of friends, close friend, who would record it on film or take some pictures. Yeah, so you can remember that moment, right? So she says, I want a friend or two, a couple of friends, or maybe a close friend who would record it, film it, videotape it, or even take some pictures. That would be nice. And then afterwards, okay, it would be fun and nice to have a gathering to celebrate the joyous day. I think that's wonderful. That's a wonderful way to end your conversation or end your talk about a certain topic, especially since we're talking about marriage proposals. Sarah did a wonderful job in talking about how she has not given marriage proposals much thought yet because she is young, but she would like a private event with just some close friends and her fiancé. And she says afterwards, after everything is over, it would be nice, fun and nice to have a gathering to celebrate that very special moment, that joyous day, okay? So that about does it for today's actual story. Job well done.
So wedding proposals, I'm still young, so I haven't really thought about it that much, but when I think about what I would want in a wedding proposal, I would want a private event where it's just my fiancé and me, where he would just propose to me, and I think there I would want maybe a friend or two, a close friend who would record it or maybe take some pictures, because I really like looking back at videos and seeing recaps, so I think it'd be cool to have that. And yes, I want the event to be private, but I guess afterwards it'd be fun and nice to have a gathering of just our close friends, to celebrate, a joyous day of me being proposed to, me about to spend the rest of my life with someone I really love. And so, yeah, I mean, I haven't thought about it much, but that's what I would really want. And as far as a place, I don't know, just this quiet, small, maybe park or somewhere outdoors.
Everyone, did you have a good time throughout today's lesson? I sure hope so. We talked about a very special moment, a very special event in life. Whether you've proposed to someone, whether someone proposed to you, whether you're hoping that someone will propose to you in the future, just keep in mind the expressions and the vocab you can make use of the next time you talk about today's topic, marriage proposals. Next time, we'll move on from marriage proposals to actual wedding ceremonies. Our next topic will be wedding ceremonies, so let's talk about that very soon as well. Now come to our homepage, find your way over to www.evse.co.kr and leave us a few comments, questions. I'll try to get to them as fast as I can. That is all for today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.